What's up guys, Kyle here with Newegg TV. Today I'll be doing an unboxing and overview on this video card from Gigabyte. This is their GTX 770 and it is the overclock version. Alright guys, so taking a look at the box here, you can see that this card does feature a 450 watt cooling capacity, so it can handle thermal loads up to 450 watts. As I mentioned before, this is the overclock version, so I'm going to be getting into the base and boost clock speeds in just a sec. It does have 2 gigs of GDDR5 memory, and like I said, it's GTX 770. On the back here we kind of have an exploded diagram of the Geforce 3X cooler. Now this is a in-house cooler made by Gigabyte themselves, and it's a pretty beefy cooler. I'm going to show you that in just a sec. But some other features I want to talk about this card that actually comes with it that aren't listed on this box is GPU Boost 2.0 for one. Which essentially lets you set a temperature target so that you can overclock your card based on whatever temperature you've allotted. So the higher the temperature, in theory, the higher boost clock you'll be able to achieve. Aside from that, it also allows for overvoltaging for the first time. And this is 700 series cards. It's pretty new. You saw it in the GTX Titan, and it's nice to see that NVIDIA has brought it back with their 700 series. But aside from that, you can also adjust the fan curve on the GPU fan, so you can adjust how fast or how slowly it ramps up or down depending on your GPU load. And that's essentially going to allow you for a higher level of control and customizability, and essentially also offer you a smoother and more pleasant acoustic experience overall. And lastly, I just want to talk about GFE, or Geforce Experience, which is a fairly recent piece of software that NVIDIA's been working on for quite some time now. And basically what that does is it optimizes your entire system, from your RAM, memory, CPU, GPU, your OS even, and chipset, so that you actually have the best looking game. So depending on which game you're playing and depending on which card you have, NVIDIA Geforce Experience will actually recognize that and give you the appropriate settings so you're always playing at your optimal settings. And included with GFE is another implementation that they're calling Shadow Play. And Shadow Play is really cool because it uses a built-in H.264 encoder in your GPU so that you can actually record the last 20 minutes of gameplay with the 700 series card that you're using. And that's really cool because you will suffer much less of a performance hit than you would with, let's say, a program like Fraps, where it's actually all software based. And you know, for me personally at home, I do a lot of video capturing, and when I'm playing games, I generally have to bump down all my video quality settings just to achieve playable frame rates when I'm recording with Fraps. So Shadow Play definitely will allow you to play your games, enjoy them while you record them. So with that said, why don't we take a look inside the box at this beautiful card. Here are the included accessories that come with your card. You've got a quick start guide, which just briefly shows you how to install a video card into a PCIe slot on your motherboard. You've got a driver installation CD, but it is always best to go to the NVIDIA website just to ensure that you have the latest and most current up-to-date drivers. And lastly, you've got 2 Molex to PCIe connectors here, or adapters I should say. So it's got kind of a wide connector, 2 Molex on one side, and then you've also got a 6-pin and 8-pin PCIe power connectors on the other. Alright, so let's go over some of the specifications of this card before I jump into the hardware itself. But essentially this is running a GK104 chip, which is basically the same GPU that you've seen in the GTX 680, although you are going to see a significant performance boost with that chip. NVIDIA's done some great things to it, and you're definitely going to be pleased with the performance of this card, to say the least. Aside from that, it's got 8 SMX units, giving you a total of 1,536 CUDA cores. You got 3.54 billion transistors. It also does feature 4 64-bit memory controllers, which gives you a 256-bit memory interface. The memory modules come rated at 7 gigabits per second, and it's going to give you a peak memory bandwidth of 224.3 gigabytes per second. Base clock on this card, as I said before, it is overclocked. You're going to be seeing 1137 megahertz, and the boost clock is going to be 1189 megahertz. Memory speed is clocked at 7 gigahertz, so pretty blazingly fast speeds there. And this also does have a 512 kilobyte L2 cache. So taking a look at the cooler right here, this is once again the Geforce 3X cooler design that Gigabyte has gone with, and it does feature a nice black shroud. It is of brushed aluminum, It's black, so it's going to be matching in pretty much any chassis you throw it into. You can see it's got 3 80mm fans there. They are silent PWM fans, and just beneath those are 2 massive heat sinks. You've got one right under the VRAM and then one under the GPU itself. And then through those fin arrays, you actually have 6 copper heat pipes, 2 of which are 8mm thick and 4 of them are 6mm thick. So going to be doing some heavy-duty thermal dissipation on this card. Aside from that, you've also got some power connectivity over here. You've got one 6-pin and one 8-pin PCIe power connector. Taking a look at the PCB, you've got your SLI bridges, or your SLI fingers, I should say, the connectors. This card is capable of doing up to 4-way SLI. You've got a PCIe Gen 3 connector there, and if you take a look at the bottom here, you can actually see that there is a retention bracket that Gigabyte has implemented into their cooler design that actually is supposed to just improve the rigidity of your PCB and eliminate any slouching or sagging that this card might experience inside of a chassis. Aside from that, I did want to point out that the PCB is black. It's got kind of a nice semi-matte finish. It's not too glossy. And why don't we take a look at the back? You've got some rear I/O here, or your video outs, I should say. No ins, just outs. You've got DisplayPort, HDMI, and 2 dual-link DVI ports. The one on the bottom is analog, and the one on top is digital. And I forgot to mention that there is some cutout ventilation for your rear exhaust. Alright guys, that is going to do it for this unboxing and overview. Once again, this has been the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 770. And once again, this is the Overclock edition. I'm Kyle with Newegg TV, and if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our Newegg YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.